love to the city. Drop your coat, hold my wine, I'ma hold you with me. You look good, you look fine, you got all them colors. So high up on the clouds, I don't see you. I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. I'm confused, but I'm trying to spread love to the city. That's my coat, too much wine, try to grab your. What is good, what is fine, I just called you Billy. I'm so hype on the clouds, firing up. I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. Because tonight we're not gonna sleep, we dance that boogie till you know that you're gonna be wearing my hoodie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. Still believe in the hype though. That Billy thing was just a typo. You might think that I'm a psycho, but the voice in my head says I'm fine though. Still believe in the boogie. She says she believes in the boogie. They scream. So tonight, I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. Because tonight we're not gonna sleep, we dance that boogie till you know that you're gonna be wearing my hoodie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. Up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie.
Been on my own for the longest time, and the pressure takes its toll. Been on this road for the longest ride, and I'm tired of being alone. Lift me up, take my hand, no more solo rolling, only love unfolding. 'Cause you understand that we need each other to get by. We need each other to get by. Deep in my soul, I can feel it now. When the tension takes its hold. Deep down, I know that the remedy is to keep each other close. Lift me up, take my hand. No more solo rolling, they love unfolding. 'Cause you understand that we need.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Mini RPG of the Week. This is week 17 of season 4. Only maths 7? 8. Eight more editions to go here in season 4. We're getting very close to the end of another season. Only a couple of months left at this one, and then of course Mini RPG of the Week Ultimate. I unfortunately have not heard anything further about tickets up until this point. I have been assured, or I've seen, that there is still work going on in the background there to make sure that everyone can get their tickets at some point in the near future. And as soon as we have more news on that, I'd say keep an eye on the Discord, keep an eye on Twitter, all the usual places that you get your Mini RPG of the Week news. But on to happier things. On then to tonight's show, where we will be featuring a map built for us by Drops, who, I mean, if I had to guess, could be in chat right now. Does float around in this as well. Very active within the MIDI RPG of the Week community, and we're looking forward to seeing what is built tonight and seeing how things go. I think it's been at least a few weeks, maybe a couple of months since we've seen a Drops map, although we have seen a couple, I believe, throughout Season 4. If I was a better caster, decent chance that I would have gone and looked that up. I'd have the numbers for you. I'd know exactly how many drops had built for us, but I haven't. So here we are. Well, maybe Drops can tell us himself. Is floating around in chat at the moment, so we'll see. Looking forward to seeing how this one goes without spoiling things too much. I mean, the name of the map is Locked in a Circle. I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler, given that we don't put that on the intro screen. But, I mean, if nothing else, then a map built in a circle, as the description that you were just shown, gives the game away a little bit. We will be driving, in the finest NASCAR tradition today, in a circle, over and over again, and seeing how we go. 2 tracks in the TMNF style previously by Drops. This one, TMNF style? Maybe. That's a circle at the very least. A little bit of inspiration from the Google Chrome logo coming in. I mean, it's not one-to-one. All right, I'll say that. The reds off shade a little bit. I don't think the colors are in the right places, but you know, inspiration is there. Maybe a little bit. As we'll see how things go. Back in the TMNF style for this one as well is what it looks like for me at the moment. And looking good. Very interesting. The enclosed dome of it as well. When I was envisaging driving in a circle, I think my mind immediately went to like more constrained, you know, like closer together. But this is, as Drops has said, 4 blocks wide. That was the challenge that they gave themselves in building this map, as we get an overview of the donut. I have to admit, I've started eating a lot more donuts in the year 2024, like one every couple of weeks, which is a significant increase from previous amounts. But we'll stop talking about my donut consumption and jump on in to this GPS, as that's an interesting first jump. The bounce kind of sideways a little bit rather than anything else. Don't see that very often, and I'm interested to see how players adapt to that one as well, as that is a little bit of a neo slide then just after checkpoint 2, I believe, or maybe it's one coming up. I'm not sure. I know Drop said it, and I'm looking to make sure I can spot it. Was that the neo slide? Someone can make me check. It's definitely around checkpoint 2, but I'm unclear on whether it was entering checkpoint 2 or entering checkpoint 3, as we stay on board with the GPS for the moment. And it'll remain very transitional now. Does the GPS hit that barrier for a reason? Or will the strat be to avoid that barrier entirely? At a quick guess, probably going to be avoiding that barrier. Precise jump, precise enough to get up and into that, and definitely saving a lot of time if you have the speed to make that jump. That pipe, we've been told as well, you can full send it. And it definitely looks like it is so often the case with those. Now back basically to the start line for, well, the finish line as well, because that's how circles work. I paid attention in basic geometry when I was younger. And we'll see. On board now with Vortex, who maybe should have an advantage on this map. Vortex's circles, related. Not the same, but related in terms of shape and stuff. Vortex more of a spiral than a circle, it does have to be said. But what's a circle but a spiral that just hasn't gotten out of control yet, right? That makes sense. Vortex will continue on with this discovery just behind Artis, who's on track in front at the moment. Definitely getting the sense that losing speed, a very bad idea this evening. Just maintaining speed the entire way around this circle, going to be important. I believe that is the Neo slide just at leaving checkpoint 2 there. As Vortex will get a little bit lost. There are safe routes on basically all of these turns, it does look like, as well. Ways that you can go if you find yourself lacking the speed. But once again, I think just based on the flow of the map, the transition, how much speed you're going to be able to maintain at all points through the track, starting to drop speed, being forced into a safe route at any point is going to be massive time losses, and potentially time losses further down as well, as who knows if you'll be able to regain that speed in some sections and make it back to the kind of pace that you want to be keeping. Precision as well, going to be the name of the game. A couple of different sections, crossing that beam back there. Of course, the pipe that comes up shortly towards the end as well. Checkpoint 6, I believe that on checkpoint 6, I'm pretty sure. And the jump, I think it's a checkpoint 5 that's requiring some precision as well, and has a very, very long safe route to get around the corners too. Going going to be fun. We'll see what the players think of this map as well. We're already seeing times being set. Scandir is over, well, not over a minute. He's under a minute ahead of everyone, and Marius will get even closer. But Scandir down at a 1:23 to kick off our warm-up here. Solid time, expected to be kind of mid 1:02 would be a good time. An average time maybe. So with that in mind, probably expecting to see times down in the 1:01s from some of our top players. Maybe we even get as low as the 1 minute flat, and I think we're going to be very, very impressed if anyone can break the 1 minute barrier. This jump into checkpoint 6, I mean, it's, I think, possibly the most obvious of the speed checks on this map. There's definitely a few of them around the place, but this one combining speed check and precision while exiting the drift, it looks like, as well. We'll have to see if players do end up drifting this corner, as Vortex is doing now the entire way through, if they want to make that jump. But if it is required to kind of land in the drift straight into the jump then as well, that is a very, very technical piece of driving to hit that jump and get maximum speed through this checkpoint. Of course, maximum speed through the checkpoint not fully required going into the pipe afterwards anyway. A lot of players are going to be releasing just to take it a little bit safer, so you're not immediately punished for not hitting that jump as well as you possibly could, which is nice. Honestly, clever map building. Props to Drops for that one. I'm a big fan of that. You know, I mean, you can be rewarded in a close round if you manage to nail that jump perfectly, carry as much speed as possible through checkpoint 6. But equally, if you you can be rewarded by then having to risk again. But equally, you know, you can hit the jump, keep the speed, and still decide to play a little bit safe on the pipe. So creating chained decision points for players, and definitely allowing multiple points of failure as well, which is always going to lead to excitement, a bit of drama. And that's what we're all about here. We talked about those times. Scandir has already pushed as low as a 1:04.5, so pretty quick. Well, there's a 1:03, so as soon as I say it, Scandir goes lower. Got to be quicker. I have about a minute to talk about how good that time is before Scandir, you know, finishes another run and improves again. Ham Daddy. That's the name. 1:16.4. God, I hope Ham Daddy does well today. That's Canadian. Is that God, who's the good Canadian player? Carl Jr., obviously. No, not Carl Jr. God, why am I dumb? Who's the other Canadian player who's been doing very well over the last while? Who notoriously changes their name all the goddamn time? Someone will. Who? Production? Inco? Oh, Lingo. Yeah. No, that is exactly who I was thinking of. But he's changed his name so many times that when I heard Lingo, my brain couldn't parse it, because I was like, I've never heard of that person before in my life. And I was like, wait, no, that is in fact Lingo's name. Or Bingo, occasionally, sometimes as well now. Do we know, is Ham Daddy Lingo? It's a very important question. I've never seen the club tag before either, which inclines me to think that maybe it's not in fact Lingo in disguise. Ooh, that's interesting. Going outside the pole on that jump and then setting up better for this jump afterwards into checkpoint 6. That's an interesting strat. I'm a big fan of that. Ham Daddy doing things that we have not seen yet on the track in this round at the very least. It's not the fastest run. A couple of resets in the middle there, meaning a 1:37. But interesting, if nothing else. Scandir, meanwhile, is down at a 1:02.6. Looking fast, as we expect. Lingo is currently Lingo Jr. So, I mean, yeah, speaking of Carl Jr., it's good to see that Lingo's ego is still fully intact. Scandir at 1:02.6. Beta Toast with a 1:03.1. Looking pretty solid, and just at the moment practicing this first jump. Looking to see how wide. Going very wide on that. Taking a lot of speed off those early boosters is Beta Toast. And with this roof hit immediately afterwards, you're not going to gain massive amounts from that, because you're going to be losing your speed on the roof hit as well. So I do think that first jump is all about taking as much as you need, but not necessarily compromising by going so wide that you're actually losing time. But also the safety, you know, so going wide, but as Beta Toast did at the start there, gaining as much speed as possible is going to make the next section significantly easier right off the start line. So it'll be interesting seeing how this goes as well. Still setting up wide, and it does look like a lot of players setting up wide at the moment as well. Beta Toast definitely not alone in that one. We jump on board with Scandir, who is starting a run. Current best time 1:02.6. It'll remain 1:02.6. That run's not going to threaten it as Scandir resets, going significantly less wide than Beta Toast was on that start. Starting, therefore, with less speed as well. But given that Scandir has the best time on the server, we'll trust him for the moment. With that said, the difference is only 6/10, and that's an easy difference to make or gain elsewhere in the track as well, at least for a player of Scandir's caliber. So the optimal line off the start, I think still maybe a little bit up in the air. I'm leaning towards what Scandir is doing there in terms of driving less distance, more direct line through the first couple of checkpoints and not compromising. But until we actually see some rounds, until we see cars starting at the exact same time and someone like Beta Toast going a little bit wider than Scandir while he goes for minimum possible distance, you won't know. I won't know for sure. I guess I could, you know, look at their splits at the first checkpoint, but then I'd have to learn how to read. It sounds crazy. We'll do it on the next run. We'll see what Scandir is setting through the first checkpoint on his line, and then we'll take a look at what other people are doing through it. But for now, let's just sit back. We'll enjoy the magic. We still have 6 minutes left of warm-up, and Scandir on a very solid run. Currently a 10th and a half ahead of where anyone else in the field has been through that checkpoint. Checkpoint number 4. Checkpoint 5 with these jump section coming up is interesting. Taking very different line. That's going to be a little bit of a crash. Recovery lines though. Scandir staying alive on this run, definitely losing a bit of speed there, wobbling all over the place. But I do think you have to remember that in a track like this, oftentimes driving on the edge like that, wobbling everywhere, looking like at any second you are going to hit your wheel off the ground, and generally not looking as clean, can be the fastest way to drive, because it means you usually have at least one wheel on the ground, that you are always accelerating. And Scandir is a master of pulling that off in tracks like this that are transitional with maybe a little bit of some bumpiness or whatever. All right, let's see what Artis is doing at the start here. He's not going as wide as Beta Toast, but I also think he's not quite going as narrow as we saw Scandir going. Splitting the difference maybe a little bit there, but definitely leaning more towards the Scandir line than the Beta Toast line that we were seeing there. I forgot to check what the time actually was through the first checkpoint, and so that's unhelpful. But I think we'll get another chance to see here as Artis might be resetting in a second. No, he's continuing on. And I don't hate this. I mean, it's warm-up. Figure out your lines, but there is a full crash and Artis decides to keep going. All right, I'm focusing. I'm checking what time Artis has through the first checkpoint. I'm learning. Ooh, about a 9.2. Can we jump back to Scandir, who's now at a 101.8, and see roughly what he's getting through that first checkpoint? So that was a 9.2 from Artis. Great timing from Scandir. Okay. Well, at least nail the jump, Scandir. Let me see what I want to see. I think that is almost identical to the line that Artis is taking, actually. So should be a very, very similar time through the first checkpoint from Scandir on this line. That one looked a little bit further to the right, but maybe that's optimal. Pretty similar, actually. Like a little bit better. I mean, gained about a 10th over Artis, but also that was the 4th best time that anyone has set in the server at this point. So I think the impression I'm getting that the best line is to try and stay as far right as possible over that first booster, gain as little speed as possible while still getting enough to get a smooth landing up. And also we saw Scandir jumping pretty far to the left then on the entry from the platform that he jumped up onto. So it's interesting. Almost at max capacity as well. 97 out of 100 players have joined us here for the evening. It's getting pretty crowded on server. Hey, we're getting pretty close to Mini RPG of the Week Ultimate, so you know, why wouldn't people be excited? Why wouldn't they jump in? Maybe players enjoying the map as well. I mean, it's certainly fun to watch at the moment. The aesthetics of driving in the circle. Maybe this section in particular, slightly flesh-colored. I'm going to say it. I'm sorry, Drops. It's a little bit flesh-colored. I do feel like I've just been eaten by, like, a dune sandworm. We're inside the belly of the beast. Scandir sets out on another run. Let's take another look maybe at what someone else is doing on the server as well. What are the players? Oh, okay, yeah, I was going to say what are the players in the middle of the field doing, but Yannick's is also here. So let's see what Yannick's is up to at the moment. 102.775 current PV, about a second behind Scandir, and no longer second on the leaderboard as Hazard sets a 102 near flat. That is quick from Hazard. Hazard, of course, doing very well in recent weeks of Mini RPG of the Week. I was going to say Ultimate. There haven't been recent weeks of Mini RPG of the Week Ultimate because that's not how that event works. That is a LAN. And will, in fact, only have 1 week, because unfortunately we do not have the capacity to run a multi-week LAN. Yes. But also probably ever, if we're being totally honest with ourselves. God, multi-week LAN would be pretty sick though. Hazard currently, yeah, at the top of the all-time leaderboard for Mini RPG of the Week, having won in week 15, climbing clear of Yannick's in second place with 12 wins, Yannick's with 10, and Scandir, having won last week in week 16, has finally clinched a top 3 spot clear of Ice. They were tied on 8 for a couple of weeks, but Ice has now been left in the dust, which is ironic because his name is Ice and not Dirt, and Dirt is the dusty surface. Yeah, you get it. So our top 3, as things stand, heading into Mini RPG the Week Ultimate: Hazard from Yannick's, from Scandir, 12 wins for Hazard, 10 wins for Yannick's, and 9 wins for Scandir. And would you look at our top 3 on the leaderboard this week as we approach the end of warm-up? Scandir, from Hazard, from Yannick's. I mean, look, the 3 guys are all incredible Mini RPG players and have proven that multiple times in the past. I think there have been occasions where I think we've seen pretty much every variant of a top 2 between these players. I'm not sure about Hazard and Yannick's, but I imagine given how much those 2 in particular have played, they must have had a top 2 battle against each other at some point. I know near the end of Season 3 or early in Season 4, Yannick's did in fact manage to go 1v1 versus Scandir and win out. And I believe it's pretty recent as well that Hazard went 1v1 against Scandir and won out. And I'm just going to assume then that there are multiple occasions on which Scandir has gone 1v1 against each of them and managed to win out as well, because Scandir has been just winning a lot. Just winning an awful lot when you get down to it. We could continue the streak here as well. Would be a 2-week streak, nowhere near his maximum 4-week streak from earlier in Season 4, but, you know, every streak has to start somewhere. Is Ice in the server at the moment as well? I don't think, not in the top 15 at the very least, but would be interesting. It is in the server. I have just seen his name over on the left, so it would be... Most exciting outcome is that Ice manages to pick up a win in the next couple of weeks as well, and manages to maybe start to put some pressure back on Scandir to lock in that top 3 spot. You do have to back Scandir to lock in one of these top 3 spots, but equally, Ice isn't that far behind Yannick's either, only a couple of wins, so 1 Ice win in the next couple of weeks. I'm kind of rooting for it as the spectator. Hey, even Marius is only 1 win behind Ice. We're running out of weeks, with 8 weeks remaining, this being, you know, the one before that. 9 weeks in total, including this. Marius would need 3 wins. It would need 3 wins to break into the top 3, and also for, like, Scandir, Yannick's, Hazard to not win much more. It's not impossible, though. And I would love to see someone starting to put a bit of pressure on the players near the top in these next few weeks. It'd just be so fun. Well, that jump going to cause some problems this evening, we can already tell in this first round, opening round. It has done a little bit of that as well. Currently, 87 players in the server. Looks like some players did not manage to get their run finished in time. Of course, you do have to get a run complete in the 15-minute warm-up, or you will not register for the tournament. And I'm just going to go right ahead and make an assumption, despite that potentially making an ass of you and me. So you're going to have to live with that, everyone, as I assume that some people did not get that run finished within the 15-minute time period. There's Yannick's from Wish.com, Yanka, is currently attempting to get over this section. A couple of little jumps, taking it a little bit too straight on. Does need to go there, that's better. And then from here, safe. Will hit a wall, will collide, but through that section at the very least. Does spot the pipe out. Now, I could see some players talking about visibility issues on this pipe later on. It is a little bit black on black. So we'll have to see how that goes. It's a few players entering the danger zone. A few players did not make it to the finish line there as they timed out. We'll have to see how many players actually... I still haven't... I will admit, the one thing I have not quite worked out is, does this mean we will get 8 players eliminated? Does this mean we will get half of the players who are currently in the danger zone eliminated? I'm not sure. I wish I knew. We'll have to figure it out. We'll see if it is just 8 players gone at the end of this round. Go. Isauka will make it up that hill. Yanka is just in front once again. That looked like a respawn though, and Our budget Yannick's is currently struggling just a little bit. Yeah, Yannick's German brother, exactly. In the German car. Great. I do notice we don't... oh, hang on a second. Wait a second. That's Thomas. That is producer Thomas / caster Thomas / will work any role as long as you ask him politely, Thomas. Oh, I hope he makes it. I want to make some fun of. I want to make a little bit of. I want to poke some fun at him in some future rounds, and it's going to be difficult if he bombs out in the first round. A little bit disappointing as well. He's sitting very close to the danger zone, and this could be our illustration of whether it's 8 players eliminated in the first round or if it is just fully half off the danger zone. Although he is climbing. Thomas making his way through. This jump important. We're definitely seeing plenty of crashes here. Survives, uses the wall to stay on track and loses his speed on the acceleration penalty, but is alive. Forgot where that pipe was. Definitely did forget where that pipe was, but that's okay. Thomas is an old man and we'll forgive him for the memory loss starting to set in already. He takes the left path here. Now that will mean that he has to take the safe route to the finish, but he will cross the finish line in 72nd place. That might... He's going to be in the danger zone, but I believe he survives this round. I believe. His time is orange next to his name. As far as I know, that should mean that
Stop
he is
casting me, Noah.
I think we need to remove access to this server for Thomas for a while. Oh, yeah. So anyway, he's back in the danger zone. I guess we're just casting him again. Oh, Thomas, that's not the start you want, brother. Thomas, no, you were too focused on the bit, on jumping in here and trying to... The issue there, and we all know, we can admit that this is a problem for Thomas, is he was thinking of the next clever thing that he was going to say when he joined us back on the broadcast again, because he was fully planning on coming back again. And that's compromised his start. Now, the rest of it I'll admit fault for. The rest of this has been compromised about the fact that I was talking about the fact that he was thinking about what to say next. And when we see him crash next, or take this very carefully, that's again because we were continuing to just go layers deep. And at this point now, you got to remember that Thomas is just trying to keep up with all of the layers that we have built here in terms of what he's thinking about. It's a lot to follow, and more so when you are trying to drive the track. But he can't let it get to him. He's got to catch up. Ham Daddy just in front of him and potentially catchable. Ham Daddy's still taking that wide line, but Ham Daddy did in fact respawn slightly up the track there, I think. So we'll have to see if Thomas can manage to get through here. That's very low speed, but does survive. Is right on the borderline, but that's good. Making it through that section is always going to be a big win. Pokey going through for the moment, and there are some cars going fast. Thomas should be okay here. Do not go left, brother. That is the slowest possible way through this section. He's just taking the safe route to the finish every time, and this time around, it has cost him. He lost a couple of seconds. We saw McBoss flying through, and we'll have to say goodnight to Thomas, as he unfortunately will finish in 64th place. He will send us a message in chat and tell us that he didn't realize there was a quicker way, and to that I simply say skill issue. I mean, I'm going to say skill issue. I'm also going to say it's a mini RPG track. When is the correct route ever to just fully stop the car and drive slowly around a wide open road? You got to be able to figure out that that's the safe route. It screams safe route. As Thomas will use the chat in server to promote his podcast, you kind of got to respect it, the hustle. And I mean, hey, honestly, I'll shill for keeping track a little bit as well. Keeping track, great podcast, really interesting to listen to. There have been some banger episodes out recently. I really enjoyed the one with Otak, hearing him talk a little bit about his experience at the top of the competitions he's won recently, including the World Championship, working with Bren. Binks, another very interesting guest that he had on. There's been a few good ones. I've immediately forgotten who he said that tomorrow's episode is about because it's disappeared from chat, but you know what? I'm sure it'll be a good one as well. Keeping Track, a Trackmania podcast available on all good podcasting services near you. Give it a listen. It's fun. I did an episode. I did 2 episodes technically, because there was also an episode where I interviewed Thomas because he wanted to be interviewed, and I was, I guess, the only person he could think of who was capable of reading 5 questions out loud. Which kind of says a lot about how he feels about the rest of the Trackmania community. Ice Flyer is a flyer, is going to cross the line and is not flying on that one. A couple of seconds away from safety, will be eliminated along with Bueno, Sapphire, Yezop, and Seafill. That's a pretty tough round in terms of players eliminated. Some players who normally go a little bit deeper into the evening. Black Pulse, I believe, is not in the danger zone, and so will not be immediately eliminated here. That's honestly pretty skillful. You gotta respect the upside down driving there. I mean, Thomas is talking about how he did not realize how badly he was driving the track. That Black Pulse was definitely not driving the track correctly there at the end, but he was driving it pretty stylishly. That's a finish. And Black Pulse will be in the danger zone, but did survive that round. We are down to 8 players in the danger zone. It is 4 eliminations then in this round. Strong players in this round. Black Pulse, Flow, Ars Velu as well. Undire, I think we've seen around a decent amount as well. So this is a pretty scary danger zone. Not the scariest we've ever seen, but definitely a risky one. Have to see how things goes. Already a couple of players a long way down. Ryuganji and Zenlane have dropped 6 to 8 seconds behind the rest of the pack. But a second and a half, looking dangerous. There's some big crashes coming through. Checkpoint 2 claiming some lives. Excuse me. As all of a sudden Black Pulse is a long way down. Trying to chase down who's in front. Flow, maybe, but kind of driving out of sight right now. Black Pulse needs to gain 3 or 4 seconds here. We are really looking for some crashes up the field. Ars Velu or Flow, the players, I think, very much in the danger zone. Lep and Sebi. I'm just going to call them Sebi because that's the bit that isn't capitalized. And will survive there. Looks shaky. Ars Velu at risk now as well. Undire has dropped back and allowed Ars Velu back up into those safe spots. Undire trying to gain. Undire will get across the line, but it is a couple of seconds adrift and will be elimination. And Black Pulse won't even finish upside down, will be eliminated in this round. Zenlane and Ryuganji be gone as well. Ryuganji a long way back the track. Had some struggles. This is a track that we kind of called out in the warm-up as well. Potentially going to continue to punish you. And once you've lost speed, life does not get all that much easier. One mistake potentially snowballing in this one. I don't want to harp on it too much, but going left instead of right through that final checkpoint is it's interesting, Thomas. That's all I'm gonna say. The right just feels so much more natural. Well, here we go, back into another danger zone. Darrigan, Monchmualabole, McBoss, who did in fact eliminate Sai recently, Australix, a very solid map builder for this competition as well. Neko Glacia, some good players. I mean, hey Thomas, if you want to jump in for the rest of this cast, you're more than welcome. Or if you just want to get in to shout at me for a little while, inevitably plug your podcast and then leave. These are all good options, but I will remind you that I have in fact already plugged to the podcast. So that part's not entirely necessary, I guess. As Ray, is it a Star Wars reference or is it just a name that they like? We may never know. At least they haven't added the low on the end, so we're pretty sure they're not a Raylo shipper, a Raylo fanfic writer. Yes, there's nothing really wrong with that. I think there's just negative connotations around the community these days, given some of the shenanigans that they've gotten up to. But that's very specific internet drama, Thomas, and I don't know if you know anything about it.
I'm in that weird liminal zone between listening to you on Twitch and joining a Discord, and I have no idea what you're saying.
Deliberately did that just so I could pop the question as you arrived of what you thought of that and try and get a response out of you. What do you think of that, Thomas?
I think you're not that smart. Look, I just want to say one thing I've discovered.
You think Raylo shipping is smart?
There was just so much sexual tension.
Yeah, fair enough. What are you going to say, Thomas?
I went to Star Wars Episode 8 with a friend of mine who had never seen any Star Wars film. We went to the midnight release. That's a very strange point to jump in. To the midnight release. Is that, or is that not the most bizarre thing?
That's pretty fun. Honestly, I rate it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I just want to defend my honor a little bit now. I hear you've been chatting.
Mad shit, honestly, in a lot of ways.
I don't know if you know this, but someone forgot to add the settings button to the in-game overlay.
I don't understand what the issue is there.
I did have no audio. Oh my god, that's how you're meant to do this run? You're meant to go left? Oh, okay. Anyway.
There was quite a lot of the track that you were not driving correct. I'm impressed that you survived the first round. You know what?
So I joined. I did a little driving.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I need to DNF. And I was like, oh, I was recently doing an endurance race where I unbound DNF. So let me just change DNF. So I look in the settings and I can't find them. Can't find the settings anywhere. Interesting. What's that about? So I leave the server, I come back in, and then I get admittedly too far into my run when I realize I've also got no car noise. No. But guess what? I don't have time to do. I need to get running.
Yeah.
So I stay in the server, and then it was too late. I didn't want to miss the round starting.
Understandable. I will ask one follow-up question though. Have you ever actually managed to successfully listen for a gear in your life?
Oh no! So news on that. News on that. I've recently started playing TM2 Stadium. And we've been grinding in what we're calling Walls of the Week, where we grind a TM2 Stadium map. And turns out gears quite
important.
Quite important in Trackmania. I don't know if you know this. So I have been, and that was what was missing.
So you've learned gears.
I have learned gears.
I was going to make fun of you for how that should not have made a difference because you didn't know how to listen for gears. But I stand corrected, and I will take back all of my slander, apart from the fact that you were also clearly driving parts of the map incorrectly.
Yeah, I'm adaptable, man.
I don't know how you didn't see this ending, like, brother.
So okay, look, I only saw the end 3 times. All right, no, like this wasn't. I'm not well versed. I'm seeing a lot more of the end now. And then immediately when I did it the first time, and you were like, "That's not the way," I was like, "What was the way?" I don't know what the way was.
Fair.
And then I saw someone fly over the top of me, and I was like, "Oh, that was the way."
They're going fast. Yeah.
They're driving.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, Thomas, I don't know if you're sticking around or if you have places to be, things to see, and people to chat to.
I've got BIPL production to prepare for.
Oh, that's true. That's a thing that's happening tomorrow over on British Irish Trackmania. Twitch.tv/British Irish TM. I can never remember if it's Trackmania or TM.
It's TM. It's TM.
British Irish TM. Go over there. I don't know. Drop a follow. I'll be doing a bit of casting. Thomas will be doing a bit of production. It'll be a fun event.
And who's your co-caster, Noah? Let's play a game of Noah guesses his co-caster for tomorrow.
Is it you, Thomas?
It's not me. No, that's
Is it Orion?
Okay, well, look, you were meant to guess other people.
Well, it's a pretty easy one. I've cast BIPL with Orion before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who's the guest analyst? There you go.
Pack?
No, Pack's busy. Oh my god, you can skip this bit of the map? Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Oh, you can jump straight to the checkpoint. No, Pack's busy. Pack's a busy boy.
Hot SWAT.
No. This will take a bit longer because I don't know if you're aware of the fact that this person isn't playing BIPL.
Boz bets.
No, Boz is playing. You had a 50-50 there, really. On
Boz is often the safe bet because Boz notoriously will look at the map pack before deciding whether or not he wants to play. So there's always the chance that he will simply sit an event out. Also, I'm just going to take a moment to highlight what's happened in this round. Bo, who had survived 3 previous elimination zones, is eliminated in his 4th. Pulse Rugby AB eliminated. There was some chat going on in chat as well, but I didn't see what it was. And some decent players survived, but some decent players re-enter the danger zone. Monj Malabole back for a 3rd time. Dark in for a 2nd time. And yeah, sorry. Back to what you were saying. Wizzy?
Epos. Epos is doing Fast Point League, so he's not doing BIPL because he can only grind so much. And
so we get Epos on broadcast. That's fun. I like
we do. He normally has a quota of 1 swear word per interview. But I need to let him know that quota doesn't increase with time spent on broadcast. Yeah. So he gets one swear word for the whole broadcast. I hope he uses it well.
Sure. That's a Scandir crash.
That is a Scandir crash.
I'm aware that you also can't see what I'm seeing most of the time here because you are not currently in the viewing software that we are using.
No, okay. Production did send me the link, but I do have to disappear now and do BIPL production. But BIPL production, nodal.media, www.nodal.media. Keep in track with Ender. It's a very good episode. Talks about TM2 a lot and United Forever and drama, and it's fun and it's great. And I was robbed of my mini RPG of the week experience.
Well, simply incorrect, but goodbye, Thomas.
Farewell, Noah.
Well, that was fun, I think. Thanks, Thomas, for jumping in and letting us know what's going on in the wider world of Trackmania. As we will keep an eye and see if Smoke can stay alive. We'll do so. Pun Pun wasn't that far behind, about a 10th and a half off of managing to catch in that case. The battle's already starting to heat up, and with 42 players remaining, that was an 18th place required to stay safe in that round. As Ham Daddy has stayed alive, which we love to see. I personally love to see Ham Daddy staying alive, but will be in the danger zone for the next round, joined by Flo, McBoss making another trip back down, and a couple of other players as well. Driolux will make it to the finish, but will be in that danger zone too. Who else going in? McBoss for a 4th time. 4 being a maybe unlucky number. Flo in for a 3rd time as well. Struggling a little bit this evening just to stay out of that danger zone, but has managed to stay alive and was one of the quicker players to get into the danger zone here as well. So I'd say a very solid chance of making it back out again. Is joined by their teammate from Loading, Varus, also in this danger zone. I mean, there's just so many players from Loading who jump into these events. We invariably end up seeing a couple of danger zones with a couple of Loading players in them. Sometimes some very stacked danger zones full of Loading players. I said you maybe have to rate Flo for getting out of this one at the moment. Looking a little bit sketchy, but is a place or so clear of it. And in terms of time, about half a second clear of the time needed based on where other cars on track are. Ham Daddy takes the lead within this sub-match, up in 11th place at the moment, driving well. And then the 2 players from Loading and McBoss looking to survive a 4th danger zone as well. Is right on the edge, falls off that edge, in fact, as Driolux went through. Chamau is up track as well. McBoss is in danger. Jiceman has managed to make their way through the field and is sitting in a safe zone by a few seconds as well. Just needs to make it cleanly to the end from here, and you have to feel that the dangerous areas are past. One last jump, low speed, but Jiceman will be safe, sending Chamau, Driolux, and McBoss out as well. And who else? I can't even remember who the 4th player was in this danger zone, and for that I apologize. But Varus, Flo, and Ham Daddy will survive. The 2 players from Loading putting on a solid performance. A 2nd danger zone in a round with almost 40 players still remaining, where you needed to almost be top 20 to survive. Just kind of how she goes, isn't it? That's how this format works. Sometimes you've got to pull out a great round. So 4 kind of looking like the dangerous number. We've seen 2 players at least get to 4 appearances in the elimination zone. And of them, both of them have crashed out immediately in that round. It makes sense. The more danger zones you've seen, the more you're maybe struggling to keep up on the track, the more maybe inconsistent you are, and that will eventually catch up with you. It's just 2 rounds of crashes in a row to send you on out. But we have seen players survive 5+ rounds of the danger zone before as well, so it's not impossible. Some players do seem to thrive a little bit under that pressure. Lucario is in slow motion. There is no slow motion block there. That is, unfortunately, it looks like just a little bit of a disconnect. Lucario's internet dying for a brief second. Hopefully they're still driving. Hopefully they're still on track, but that is not ideal for them. Hazard has made an appearance in this danger zone, worth noting as well. Shinex, a strong player here too. Lucario does seem to still be driving, still doing okay. Sitting just half second behind. 4th place is for Luces. Hazard is dropping down the order right now, though. That is big, as Hazard, currently the all-time leader of wins for Mini RPG of the week, looking to be eliminated somewhere in about 30th place this week. Looking tough. Ham Daddy just in front, but they're not in the danger zone this round. Ice back down at the back as well. Tomote looking to catch back up, but I think has run out of time. Rotrex crossing the line in 16th place. Tomote was close, but not close enough, and Hazard will also be eliminated. 7 seconds off safety as well. That was a big crash in the middle of the track. Strong round in the danger zone as well, though. 4th, 5th, and 8th, I think that was, from the players in the danger zone. Needed to be fast if you wanted to survive that one. Even if Hazard hadn't been so far behind, could still have been a battle at the top. And, well, it just keeps rolling. That's the way she goes. Hazard will have an unfortunate week. Will not be adding to that win title. Door opened a little bit for Yannick's maybe to catch back up. For Scandir to move one step closer. Maybe even for Ice or Marius to sneak in another win between now and the end of Season 4. As Handaddy has re-entered the danger zone. So has Jiceman, so has Flo. And Flo will once again have company from a loading player as Dark62. Currently in 3rd place, will drop to 7th, but is technically in the danger zone at the moment. I gotta keep saying it, this is again a pretty stacked danger zone. You can see that from the fact that Betatos sits in 3rd, Dark is in 4th, Vinch and Ice 13th and 17th, as Papa Joe, I did think, fell off just there. But I was looking at the scoreboard. This is what you need a co-caster for. Handaddy looking to chase down Ice at the moment, needs to gain about a second, and so he's reliant on that mistake up front. The pipe sometimes provides. Did the pipe provide this time? As Handaddy enters the last checkpoint, the pipe did not provide, and so Handaddy will cross the finish line with an elimination down in 18th place. As Flo, Papa Joe and Jiceman will end their evenings as well. All of them will at least get to the finish line. All of them will at least get across one more time. That'll be the end of their journeys. Meanwhile, very nice times have apparently been set all the way up at the top of the leaderboard. So we'll take a quick look at what the players are driving. Scandir with a 1 minute 0.5 is, that's quick. And 108 from Yannick's as well, within 0.3 of Scandir in that round. We're setting up for a pretty fierce top of the table battle as well. As you can see there on the live PBs, those were PBs for 2 of the players. Hazard, the next closest, has been eliminated already. Beta Toast is about a second away then from either of those top 2. So Scandir and Yannick's looking a little bit in a league of their own for the evening, but we do know that that can always change. A couple of bad rounds and off you go. Feeling like maybe a little bit of a safer danger zone this time around, but not significantly safer. I say that just because, there's maybe less names who have a couple of wins to their name in Mini RPG of the week in this one. But they're all still driving very well, and it's looking like you almost need to be top 10 again in this round. Zezzy will touch, lost speed, but that's not the worst touch that you can make on this track, and Zezzy will still be alive. Dracofo is just behind as well. I do have to consider that maybe this is not Dracofo, that maybe this is the character from Harry Potter and the Vietnamese food, and this could in fact be Draco Pho. We'll consider it. I'm going to stick with Draco Pho until I'm corrected the other way. Maybe Draco Pho. I'll split the difference. Call him Draco Pho. And I'm just going to go with Draco Pho. Draco Pho, doesn't matter. Either way, they're going to be eliminated. And so I will not have to worry, obsess, stress over pronunciation anymore. I'm sorry to say that that lessens the burden on me a little bit. Sebi, who we haven't seen in a little while, will be eliminated as well. Luces is going to go down to a player that you might have thought relatively safe to get through here. And credit to Hollow up the top of the leaderboard, 2nd in this round too. Definitely not as fast as the previous rounds. In fact, a couple of seconds slower for 1st place than the previous round. But still a 2nd place for one of the players in the danger zone. As these players will jump on in. We are still on the PB one, which is why the scoreboard looks a little bit strange there. Don't worry about that. They were still the last 8 players in that last round. Don't stress about it. This is the PB leaderboard instead of the live leaderboard. That's why it looks weird. I promised. Is it not? I'm pretty sure. Or no, it's not anymore. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. You're right. You're right. I apologize. This is why I should never call anyone out. I'm inevitably wrong. Now this is a scary, scary sub-match. This danger zone is Artisa, it is Ice, it is Viper, Beta Toast, Lucario, Tommy. Whew. Gonna be tough to survive, as you can see that from the top down. Artisa currently sitting in 4th, Viper in 7th, and there's not a big gap between any of the players. There's a few more now. Checkpoint 3 has wiped a few players out, and the gap starts to open up a little bit. Lucario and Viper are just a little ways down. They've closed the gap, not by much. They are still sitting about a second behind the leader, but only a couple of tenths behind safety. You can still see Tommy was just in front there, and Tommy is now just behind, having crashed on this jump, crashing again on this jump. Tommy will DNF. Betatos looking to catch up to someone. That someone has to be Rotrex, but they are way in front. Gap of 2 seconds. Rotrex should be totally safe here. As Ice, Artis, Lucario, and Mrotw survived this round, and Beta Toast, who was one of the fastest players in the server, will find themselves eliminated. And also, we're going to see Scandir heading to the danger zone. Our final danger zone of 8 players will feature the player with the highest win percentage so far in Season 4, Scandir, with 7 out of 16 weeks. He's not quite sitting at the 0.5 win ratio, but he's not far off it right now. As Artis will know, presumably for Beta Toast? I don't know. Maybe. A couple more loading players going out on that one as well. As we did comment on how many loading players we did have. I think we're down to just Faris at this point. Suffering from success. Feeling a little bit lonely without his teammates. The brethren in arm. Who knows? Manjmala Bolay showed up early in the danger zone a couple of times this evening, but has managed to stay quiet and keep his nose clean since then. Now back for a first visit in a while, but much higher up the leaderboard than those previous visits. Now guaranteed at least a top 20. Would love, I'm sure, to make it a little bit deeper. Similar story for Rotrex. Maybe Rotrex? Like a rotting dinosaur? Yeah, Rotrex, who has made a few visits to the danger zone at this point and is looking very solid in this round. This is quick. Again, it does have to be said, these danger zones are getting scary. The difference between 11th and 12th at the moment, the difference between safety and death, as Vortex is about a 10-point aura on this one. The Scandir doing Scandir things and driving quickly, but has made a couple of mistakes and dropped a little ways back. Is definitely not out of danger. This could still be an early exit from Scandir. Rotrex going the long way around. More speed into the pipe. Scandir falls off, and the entire field driving through. Aura up in front there, I think, is the last safe spot. Is the last safe spot. And that'll be Aura crossing the line in 9th place, and Scandir eliminated. And I think ultimately that'll be 14th place. Very early exit from Scandir this evening. Will not be adding to that win tally. Is Ice still alive? Is Ice still in the running here? After Scandir, he is in a danger zone of his own. But Ice could manage to tie things back with Scandir here after Scandir finally pulled clear of Ice in that race for top 3 overall all time. We're down into the 4-person sub matches. Things continue to get more intense. Lucario calls his death from afar. Not the most impressive of called shots if it's wrong, because, you know, you can just throw. But I think equally impressive if Lucario does manage to stay in, because this is a tough round. Ice, Artis, and Marius. That is, I believe, 3 players who are all in the top 10 most winning all time for Mini RPG of the week. And right now, Lucario leads all 3. Very impressive to start off the round there, and is continuing to hold on to that 3rd place. A little bit of separation even back to Ice, who in turn has a little bit of separation back to Marius, but that separation has disappeared. Marius thrusting himself back into the conversation, and Lucario is getting swamped by both Ice and Marius right now. Artis a long way out of this race, a couple of seconds down, but Marius will overtake Lucario, who does clip just a brief amount there. Should still make these jumps, should still make these transitions. Needs now to send it into this pipe, but lost a lot of speed on the exit of that turn. Artis even has managed to catch back up, and Marius and Ice are wheel to wheel off in front. Hand in hand, they will cross that finish line and stay alive. It's 2nd and 3rd place for them, just behind Dark, who I'm going to credit right now and say is a dark horse for winning tonight as well, especially with Scandir and Hazard both gone from competition. Although Yannick's definitely still in the conversation as well. I feel like I keep forgetting about Yannick's this evening because he's been relatively quiet. Wasn't the fastest player on servers, sitting just behind Scandir. Has yet to visit the danger zone, but is doing pretty well the rest of the time. As Lucario was unfortunate in that round. Called the shot before the round even started. That was going to be the end, but definitely I think could have survived. It was just, I think, the tension towards the end getting to them. Dark with a full crash on checkpoint 1, not in the danger zone, so not the end of the world. Should stay alive as Vortex, Aura, Uso, and Hollow take each other on in this one. Players again keeping their nose clean. Yannick's just playing it safe. Marius, I'm sure, not wanting to make another visit to the danger zone. The Safe Meister wanting to stay safe a little while longer. We are into the top 10 after this round as well. So the second place player, well, I guess the fourth place player in the elimination zone in this one will not make it onto the Liquipedia page. The player who does get eliminated but is ahead of someone else will make it onto that Liquipedia page. Hollow at the moment sitting just in that safe zone. No, sorry, sitting just outside that safe zone. I got betrayed by the leaderboard briefly, but they are a little ways behind Vortex. I do not think they are going to catch. They will not. 9/10 the difference, or on Hollow to be eliminated in this round. Uso and whoever else it was stay alive. And, well, that'll be the end. Dark, I said, you know, maybe a dark horse to win it, has made 5 visits, including this one, to the danger zone. Equally so has Ice. I want to stress how big a win this would be for Ice this week. Scandi are gone, a chance to pull back even in the race for top 3. It cannot be overstated. So all of these danger zone rounds for Ice, just a little bit scarier. A little bit tougher, because there's a lot on the line for Ice. There's a lot on the line for a lot of these players, but Ice in particular does still have a shot, and a realistic one, at top 3 for Mini RPG The Week Ultimate. The free ticket, the free merch as well. And I'll remind everyone that there will be merch available with your tickets for Mini RPG The Week Ultimate, and the hoodies are sick as hell. That's not important. What's important right now is the action on track, and it is Dark versus Ice up the front. Unfortunately for Garliot and Rotrex, you kind of need to be top 2 right now in order to stay alive in this round. Now, I would say that Ice has slipped back and immediately fallen behind both Goliath and Rotrex, and went for the riskier version of that jump, and Goliath did as well, but it's failed for Goliath. So it's now Ice versus Rotrex in a race to the line. Ice tried to risk it, tried to keep speed, falls off completely. Dark 62 and Rotrex should be the 2 players staying alive in this one. They will indeed be. Dark once again won a round. Has won plenty of rounds. Now sitting on the most visits to the danger zone, at least he will be when he gets to the next one. But equally has won a fair amount of rounds this evening. Almost an inconsistent performance, but consistent enough to carry him all the way now into a top 7. As we are into the rounds of 1v1. 2 players enter the Thunderdome. 1 walks out intact for our first head-to-head. It is Speed Self and Vortex. When we pull up the leaderboard for a second, how many times have each of these players hit the danger zone? 2 times for Speed Self, 3 times for Vortex. Both with similar PBs, a couple of tenths separating them as well. Let's see how this one plays itself out. We're on board with Uso for the start, getting out to a solid start, but Speed Self has a better one, leads the pack, and Vortex is then on the chase for the rest of this one. There are other cars on track. They're irrelevant in this round. These 1v1s are the tension, the drama. It just comes down to beating the other car, staying safe yourself, and then also, to be fair, even if the other car crashes horrifically, maybe trying to make sure you don't end up straight back in the danger zone yourself next round by driving too safe. But this is a battle. Vortex and Speed Self are wheel to wheel with each other. Speed Self a little bit safer out of that corner, but uses it to set himself up for more speed on the exit. Vortex goes very close to the checkpoint. Speed Self, I think, has lost speed. Speed Self did lose speed, clipped this corner, lost enough speed to crash on out on the follow-up jump as well. Then Vortex will stay safe and should be totally safe from re-entering the danger zone next round. Leads the field, might lose it at the line to Yannick's, but that's irrelevant. Vortex does in fact hold on. A difference of 3 thousandths, and that's a great time from Vortex as well. 101.8 is fast. Whew. It was intense. There you go. Dark and Rotrex, the 2 players remaining with the most danger zone appearances. One of them's evening will end now. 6 appearances in that danger zone for Dark, but equally a lot of round wins. Rotrex is going to have to pull it out of the bag, or maybe hope that Dark has gotten those wins by pushing a little bit too hard, and the pressure of the 1v1 will cause him to do so again. As we line up on the start line, last one in danger zone will be eliminated. The rocket is on the launch pad. All it needs is fuel. It's a Tommy Tallarico quote for anyone who's watched the H-Bomber Guy video in the last 2 years. But the rocket is launched, and Dark is out to that early lead. He's maybe picked up some round wins by pushing hard, but has ended up in the most danger zones of anyone this evening. Equally maybe by pushing hard. It's a risk-reward play style, and so far the reward has outpaced the risk And so far seems to be doing so again. That's risky from Mrotw. Does stay alive, keeps the car out of the wall, but the compromised line means a speed loss and means more distance. The lead for Dark balloons from half a second to over a second as he continues to put that gap not only on Mrotw but the rest of the field. Mrotw is in third place. This should drop to fourth now. Safe line through this section. A lot of speed, but having to drift a little bit more and go safe through here. More speed then onto the pipe. How much of it can he maintain? Not a lot. Needed to release heavily on the pipe. And so any hope of keeping the speed from that low jump around to the right and maybe a chance of catching Dark out the window. Mrotw, solid performance, will make it all the way into 6th place this evening, but Dark stays alive and is guaranteed at least 7 Danger Zone appearances tonight. Clutching up over and over, as Yannick's, by contrast, has yet to be in the Danger Zone. And here we go, Uso versus Marius. 2 Danger Zone appearances apiece this evening, and we have seen in the last couple of rounds the Danger Zone contenders kind of racing out to the front. Maybe a little bit different this time around. We did see Vortex crash early in that round, so he's going to be ways behind, but it is okay, not in the Danger Zone. It is Marius versus Uso. As Dark and Yannick's, I think, maybe previewing our final 2 for the night. They're looking scary right now. If Dark can just hold it together, string together enough good rounds between here and the end of the evening, this could be a win. I believe a first ever win for Dark in Mini RPG of the week. Although will probably be making another appearance in the Danger Zone in the next round. Marius is going slowly as well. Dark taking a safe line through there. But it's Marius versus Uso. Do not forget, and Uso is a long way in front of Marius right now. We're running out of track in places where things can go wrong. I think Uso can be said to have done it at this point. A little bit slow through that final section, but he had a second's gap and will still finish at over a second ahead of Marius in this round. The Safemeister himself will not be able to close that gap to Ice, to Scandir, to Yannick's, and to Hazard ahead of him on the all-time wins leaderboard. But we're gonna see Dark clutch up one more time. Maybe. Hopefully. I kind of hope he does. He's putting on a performance in these moments when he needs to tonight. And it would be incredibly impressive. This time it's Dark versus Vortex. 7 Danger Zone appearances versus 4. A very respectable 3 survivals from Vortex, but it is nothing compared to the 6 survivals from Dark so far. Here we go. I mean, everything from this very first jump on this track is failable. Dark takes such a different line there from the other cars. And look at how much speed he's gotten. There's more risk. The angle is awkward on that roof bounce. But it has worked. He starts with a 3/10, must be more, 4/10, 6/10 advantage over Vortex, who falls behind the rest of the field as well. Dark risks a little bit, clips a little bit, loses some speed. He should still have plenty to make this jump. Gets close to the outside there, but is still alive, and Vortex has made a mistake. He's crashed, he's reset, and he is now looking to just drive this track, keep it clean to the finish line, and hope that the mistake comes in from Dark. But right now, no mistakes from Dark. We've seen a wheel clip occasionally on that section from some players. Dark taking the slightly maybe safer line. Dark! A full crash, slid off the edge. I think he's still in front of Vortex. He is, but it's not over yet. Dark makes it through the checkpoint. Vortex crashes in the exact same way. Both of them into the left side of that checkpoint. They do the backflip for style points, and if either of them hadn't done it, it would have looked safe. But both of them did it, and Vortex had his chance. You cannot say that Dark did not make that interesting, and he'll continue to do so. He is straight into an 8th Danger Zone of the night, up against Uso. This one for a spot in the top 2. He's already earned a podium. Yeah, we know he can put in the times as well. As you can see it there, the line he has off this start continues to give him an advantage over his opponents in the Danger Zone. That said, Yannick's has managed to keep up, and so again, a preview potentially of our top 2 and the battle we could have there. Although Dark has lost speed to Uso right now, it's not over yet. Uso still has something to say about this round and his want, his desire to be in a top 2 as well. Just a couple of tenths separating them. 0.268. Dark though crashes. Dark crashes again. The pressure, finally the nerves, the adrenaline, the shaking hands, whatever it may be. Dark has made the mistakes, and you'd have to imagine that will be the mistake that will fully cost him. Uso survives the jump that neither Vortex or Dark could in the previous rounds, and there is a 5-second gap now as Uso rounds the final couple of corners, will even take the round win as Yannick slows, and our final is locked in. The Cinderella story for Dark 62, not going to carry him all the way to a top 2, but it is a podium position nonetheless. You gotta love the story. You gotta love that number 8 next to Dark's name. Incredible things as we now enter our top 2 in the battle to take it all down. Yannick's looking for an 11th win all time to close the gap back to Hazard and to keep some separation between the players chasing on the all-time wins leaderboard. Uso looking for a first ever mini RPG of the week win, a veteran of this competition. I'm sure would love to have a win before season 4 wraps up, and I'm sorry Uso, I may have jinxed it. Would be nice to get that win. It's starting to look a little bit out of reach as Yannick just needs to keep his nose clean, and Yannick's an experienced competitor in his own right across a huge number of competitions over the years. Will know what he needs to do to close it out from here, and what he needs to do is drive safe, drive smart, and maybe just don't mess up. Don't make the big error. A couple of places where that error could come in yet. Some jumps coming up, specifically right here. That's slow. That's very slow from Yannick's. The gap is down to 2 seconds. And Yannick's, he won't go safe there. He will still make it, choosing the risk there. And it's clean through the pipe as well. The gap closed even further. It's down to 1.5 seconds. Has it dropped further? No. Yannick extends the lead again towards the finish line. Will pick up a win and is your winner for Mini RPG of the Week. Season 4, Week 14. Nope, Week 17. God. It'd be a better announcement right at the end if I could get the numbers right. But it's a very impressive win nonetheless. And what a week it was here inside the donut. The pool float, the tube, the inside of a sandworm in places. A little bit flesh colored. Feels a little bit like being swallowed. Vor in my mini RPG of the week. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm sorry, Drops. I really enjoyed watching the map. It was wonderful. Huge shout out to Drops as tonight's mapper. A wonderful experience all around. We got to see the fight back. I mean, Uso pushed for it so hard, denied at the end, and of course as well, Dark 62 looking to pick up that win. A pretty new top 3. Again, neither Uso or Dark have ever picked up a win in Mini RPG of the Week, and both of them had their chance tonight. Ultimately, the win goes to Yannick, his 11th, 1 behind Hazard on 12, 2 ahead of Scandir on 9. Ice on 8 and Marius on 7, looking to chase down on those as well. But that will just about wrap things up. Thank you so much for joining us. Once again, I will remind you that we are a couple of months away from Mini RPG of the Week Ultimate, a LAN event being held in Compiègne in France. We're bringing Mini RPG of the Week to the stadium, the arena. It's a room in a university somewhere, but it's going to be a ton of fun. We look forward to seeing a lot of you there, and tickets will be on sale soon. We had some minor issues with the ticketing website, but we are working. I say work is going on. Shout out to Zeterate, our admin, who is working with the company that we're trying to do ticketing through to try and get that resolved as soon as possible. Keep an eye on Discord, keep an eye on Twitter, all the usual places to get your Mini RPG of the Week news, and make sure you do not miss those tickets when they do in fact go on sale. Along with the merch, along with everything else, that's gonna do it. Thanks for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again next week. Same time, same place, same channel, and we'll see you there.